Hi Cheyenne, thank you for accepting this interview. So my first question to you would be, what are your most used social media apps?
I mainly use TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. These are the apps that I usually spend my leisure time at, and I use this because I'm able to keep track of the trends and news, and also um, it allows me to see what my friends have been doing, and if I don't see them in a while, I can still text them through these apps and just chat with them.
Okay. So what is your daily average screen time on your phone?
My daily average screen time is about 6 hours, but it used to be 10 hours.
Uh, 10 hours last time. So why was your screen time so high last time?
Honestly, I had depression last time, so I did not want to head out to socialize with my friends. And besides that, due to COVID, we cannot head out to socialize due to circuit breaker. So I just happened to just spend all my time on my phone and on social media platforms.
I see. So comparing your presence online versus your social life, which one do you prefer?
Personally, I think I prefer my presence online because I'm a very socially awkward person in real life. So, being online just helps me in being more comfortable, and I'm able to hide behind my phone, and it feels safer as I do not have to reply to people immediately. So I get to reply people at the comfort of my own time, and I'm also able to think of what to reply as well.
So in real life, you prefer not to. It gives you more time to think when you're offline, right?
Yup.
On when you're online. Okay. So, do you know what is social media addiction?
I think that social media addiction is when an individual cannot live without social media platforms. For example, their screen time will be mostly above average. Like, for example, if average is about 5 hours, theirs would be about 12 hours or more. And also, I think that they will always have their devices with them all the time, and whenever they're out with their friends or family, then they'll be constantly using their devices to surf the internet and look through their social media platforms.
I see. So, last time you used to use your phone a lot and now you've cut down a lot, right? So, how do you feel last time when you couldn't really go online much? When if you were out at gatherings or something or at school, how did you feel when you couldn't use your phone as often as you wanted to?
I think I felt very uncomfortable as um, due to the comfort of staying at home and using my device to surf the internet, being like suddenly I have to head out and socialize, it just felt very awkward and uncomfortable, and it just didn't feel right.
So, is it okay if I ask you questions related to social media and your depression?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so you said you used to be depressed last time, right? So, how do you think social media helped you? Did it help you improve that, or did it help you that you could just hide? How did you feel?
I think it helped me in many ways because firstly we are able to create accounts that is private. So I'm able to use the private account to rant about the stuff that's happening in my life. And for me, I do not have anyone that I can rant to comfortably. And
You can continue.
so, being able to rent online, it sort of just creates like a diary for me to look back on when I have overcome the issue. And also, um, I'm just able to keep track of whatever like my friends, or just be able to also besides that, I'm able to look for more friends online, and it's easier cause I do not have to meet them in person. I'm able to just speak to them on the phone or just casually text them whenever and wherever I like to.
So, have people around you noticed that you have been addicted to social media, or did you manage to hide it from them perfectly?
I think that people around me have realized that I'm addicted to my social media platforms, as I was usually approached by my friends and family, and they will usually ask me on why I'm constantly on my phone, but it was just mainly because I was addicted and I just couldn't get off my phone.
So you mentioned that your mom and your friends did notice, right? So what did your mom do? Was she disappointed, or was she what did she do when she realized that you were so addicted?
I think my mom was just very mad, and she was just constantly scolding me on why I'm constantly on my phone. But she did give me solutions on how I could solve that, such as spending more time on other hobbies such as sports or swimming. So when I'm doing such hobbies, I'm being occupied on something rather than on my phone or the social media platforms. And she usually just she realized cause I was just constantly on my phone, and whenever she talked to me, right, I was just ignoring her because I was just too I was just too engrossed with my phone and the social media platforms.
I see. So now that you are better, right? What would you have done? What would you say to someone that currently has a social media addiction? What would you tell them?
I think that it's fine as long as it doesn't intervene with their current social life. So they shouldn't let it affect what they are currently doing. So for example, if they are studying, they shouldn't let social media platforms affect how they are doing in their studies. So they should be able to manage their time well in order to implement both studies and usage of their social media platforms.
Okay, thank you. So, how did you manage to successfully cut down your average screen time from 10 hours to 5 hours? That's almost double the time.
I think it was mainly thanks to the end of the circuit breaker as well, because we were kind of forced to be in school and we have to interact with our team members. And through that, I think I just gradually started to use social media like lesser. And also due to school, most of the time we are not able to use our phones as much as when we were in HBL. Mainly because there's a faci that's like looking at us to do our work and keep track on how we are doing. So I think that helped me in cutting down my screen time as well.
Okay, so you attributed your social media addiction to your depression and circuit breaker, right? What do you think are some other causes of social media addiction?
I think for some people, they might be socially awkward, so they might be more comfortable on social media platforms. Besides that, maybe they might be a single child, which like helps them in talking on social media or like using social media, as they have no one to talk to, so it's easier for them to find friends or just someone comfortable to talk to online.
I see. So, is your mom a millennial?
Yes, she is.
Okay, so if you were to compare your social media habits to your mom's, what do you think are the differences or any similarities between the two of you?
As for similarities, I think that she spends quite a number of quite long hours in social media as well, mainly Facebook, because there's many live streams there. So she would usually spend her time watching live streams on Facebook and also purchase random products on Facebook as well. The differences might be the time where we spend on the social media platform. Like for example, I might be spending my time during lunchtime to look at my social media platforms, but as for her, it's usually at night during her free time.
Okay. So, for your mom, who's a millennial, right? Do you think she... Okay, so, did you grow up with social media?
No, I did not grow up with social media. Social media was introduced to me when I was about 9 years old, and it was just it was a place where I could share my feelings as well, but it wasn't as interesting as it is now. For example, last time we could only create posts, or we could only post videos, but now we have things like live videos or reels, and we are able to direct message our friends. As compared to last time, we weren't able to do that. We were only able to comment on such posts and just look through whatever our friends are doing.
Okay, thank you. So would you say that from when you were younger and until now, social media has evolved a lot?
I think that social media has evolved a lot, because I think that stories are very well used now. It's very easy to use because we can just easily snap a picture and post it on our Instagram story, and it will only last for 24 hours. Besides that, now whenever we take pictures or videos, we can apply effects to the videos and pictures, which enhances it as well. So we do not have to spend extra time trying to edit our post, as these effects will just easily help us to edit it.
Yeah, that's true. So, how satisfied are you with your current social life?
I think I'm okay with my social life, but generally still very awkward in real life, as I'm not used to interact with my friends and teammates. However, whenever I need to interact with them and to complete a project or anything, I'll still step up my game and try to interact with them as much as possible.
I see. So, so what are some ways you think social media addiction can affect someone's social life based on your personal experience?
I think that when you get too comfortable with your social media platforms, it kind of deteriorates your social life skills. Like when you use too much apps like Telegram, and you're too used to texting people, your social skills in real life will just be bad, because you're not that used to speaking in person, and you'll just generally be more awkward as compared to before.
Okay, so what do you think people think of people that are addicted to social media addiction? What do you think is their point of view?
I think there's a stereotype of how those people with social media addictions are usually like at home and like they don't bathe and they just like they're constantly on their phone and they would not interact with people. But I don't think that's true, because as a social media addict myself, I think that I do still interact with people, but it's just being cut down by a lot. So actually, obviously I still bathe, but I just spend a lot of my time on social media platforms just on my bed, but I still do what every other people do daily.
Okay, I see. So, have you ever come across anyone else that has been a social media addict?
I think that my brother, he was a social media addict as well. Previously, I've seen him not showering, and he has just been like sleeping a lot. So when he wakes up, then he'll just be on his phone. Then he'll be on his bed the entire day, and then he would not interact with us as well.
So, since you said your brother was also addicted to social media, right? Is he still addicted or has he gotten over it?
No, he's no longer addicted to social media, as previously, honestly, he didn't have a job. That's why he got addicted to social media. But currently, he has a job, so it helped him in many ways to get out of social media. And I don't think it's a bad thing as well, because in our daily lives and in work or school, we would still require to use such social media platforms to communicate with people. So I think it's essential to use such platforms, but just not too much.
So, have you ever offered any help or have you ever talked to your brother about his addiction?
I have not really talked to him about his addiction, because I felt like I wasn't in a place to talk to him about it, because I was an addict myself. But if we were to turn back time, I would definitely talk to him about it, because I think that those time that we have spent using on social media platforms can be used in better places, such as upgrading our skill set, and just we would be able to search on things that we like and we can spend time on, instead of staying at home and using social media platforms.
Okay, so as you used to be a social media addict, right? Other than the unhygienic part, what do you think are some stereotypes that people have of y'all?
I think that people might think that we have like no social life, or like we just don't do anything in general. I think it's partly true, but I also do think that we have like spiraled into this without knowing, and it would be tough to get out of this spiral, because firstly, we do not know how we got into this, but then it will be hard for us to get out of it as well.
So, how long did it take you to realize that you were actually addicted to social media? Did you realize it yourself, or did the people around you tell you then you realize it?
I did not realize it myself. My mom actually approached me to talk about it, and honestly, I felt really bad at that time, because to me, I did not know that I have this addiction, right? So for someone to confront me like this just felt very uncomfortable, and it just took me very long to get out of this addiction.
So, what would you do if your own friend is addicted to social media? Would you advise them, or what would you do?
I think firstly I would perhaps like ask them on why they're spending so much time on the social media platforms. If it was a similar case like mine, like due to depression, then maybe I would offer help to them, like give them possible solutions on how they can get help themselves and how I'm able to be there to listen to them. But then if it was for other reasons, then we would just figure our way out on how to not be an addict or be a lesser addict.
So, do you have any advice for those social media addicts?
I think that they shouldn't blame themselves and be worried on when they can cut down on their addiction. I think mainly they should just take their time and figure out on how they can transfer this addiction to something else. Like they could use the time on social media to perhaps improve their skill sets or do their hobbies such as like gym or like swimming or hanging out with friends. I think friend support and family support is very important as well. Without them, I think I would not be able to get rid of my social media addiction.
Okay. What are some preventive measures you can take to stop yourself from getting addicted to social media again?
I think that I should set my priorities straight, such as like okay, hold on, let me think for a while.
Sure.
No, not sure.
By setting my priorities straight, like whenever my friends ask me to hit out with them, then instead of rejecting it and heading straight back home after school, perhaps I could just agree and head out with them. And when I'm out with them, I'll try not to use my device as much. And instead of capturing the moments with my phone, perhaps I could just capture them with my eyes.
Thank you.